Good morning, children. Now, let's move on to the third part of human settlements. So, before we move over to the third part of this lesson, so let us revise what we had already done in the previous session. We had studied about rural settlements. So, where are rural settlements found? They are found in the rural regions. And the primary occupation of the people in the rural areas is agriculture or allied activities like fishing, then we have mining, lumbering, etc. Now we had also discussed about settlements seen in the rural regions. Now, based on the occupation, we can classify rural settlements as farming villages, fishing villages, lumberjack villages, etc. Settlements are also found wherever there is water body, that is a river, lake, tanks, etc. Or it can be seen in a clearing in the forest because wood is easily available. Okay, children. Now, let's move over to the third part of this lesson. So here, we are going to classify rural settlements based on forms or configurations. So, based on forms or configurations, we can have a number of geometrical patterns or shapes such as linear, rectangular, T-shaped village, a circular star-like village, cross-shaped village, etc. Now, what's a linear arrangement? Now, in a linear arrangement or pattern, we find houses are established along a road, a river, railway line, canal, edge of a valley, etc. So, linear means in a line. So, you find houses which are arranged on either side of a road in a line, or it can be on either side of a river, or you have a railway line, a canal, edge of a valley, etc. The next one is rectangular pattern. Now, such models of rural settlements are found in plains or in wider intermontane valleys. The roads are rectangular or cross each other at right angles. So, such type of arrangement is usually seen in plains or in intermontane valleys. Okay, now the roads are usually rectangular and they cross each other at right angles. So, a very good example of this rectangular pattern is the roads that are found when the Indus Valley, excavations were carried out. The next one is circular pattern. Now, in the case of circular pattern, we have circular villages grow around lakes, tanks, and sometimes the village is organized in such a way that the central part remains accessible and is used for keeping the animals to guard them against wild animals. Okay, so in the case of a circular pattern, we have villages which grow around lakes or tanks, or in certain cases we have the villages which are constructed or built in such a way such that in the central part they have the animals. That is usually, this refers to many of the houses of shepherds who have animals like cows, then sheep, etc. And they keep these animals in the central part, and they have the houses which are constructed around the central part. This is to protect the animals from wild animals. Okay, next one is a star-like pattern. Where several roads meet, star-shaped settlements emerge with the houses built along the roads. So in all these you find it is the roads which are built first, and then it is the settlement which emerges. So in the case of a star-like pattern, we have several roads which meet. So you have a star-shaped arrangement and houses are constructed along the roads. The next one is T-shaped settlements are seen at tri-junction of the roads. Okay, so T-shaped arrangements are seen in tri-junction of the roads, that is where you have three roads. Okay, while Y-shaped settlements develop at places where two roads meet a third one and houses are built along these roads. So what is a T-shaped settlement? So in the case of T-shaped settlements, we have, it is seen usually at the tri-junction of the roads. And in the case of Y-shaped settlements, we have two roads which meet the third one. And houses can be seen built along these roads. Now look at this picture. This shows you the linear arrangement of the houses on the side of a river. Okay, can you see the houses? They're constructed in a line. Now this is a cross-shaped road. Okay. Now this one is a rural settlement, a good example of an isolated, settlement. Okay, with you have got plenty of greenery around. You can see trees here. Okay, so this is a very good example of isolated settlement. Now next one is cruciform roads. So these are seen on crossroads and houses spread on all the four directions. Okay, so houses can be seen in all the four directions of these roads. Next one is double village. So these settlements are spread on both sides of a river where there is a bridge or a ferry. So this will be seen on both sides of the river, and if the bridge is connected on both sides, either by a bridge or a ferry, you call it as a double village. Now, let us move over to characteristics of rural settlements. So, where are rural settlements found? Yes, children, they are seen in the villages. So, it is in the form of villages and is surrounded by farms with a small population. So, you can see farms in a village. The rural settlements have villages and they have plenty of farms there. And what about the population? The population is small. The main occupation of the people is farming, forestry, fishing, mining, lumbering, etc. So here activities performed by the people in the rural areas is mostly primary occupation. That is that which is directly connected with nature. So it is farming, forestry, fishing, mining and lumbering. The services provided are limited and are mostly for limited needs. So what about the services? Say if you, I think all of you would have gone to your village where your grandparents stay. Okay, and if you can compare the villages with the towns, you find the services which are provided in a village is very, very limited. You have, if you, the shops also, and, then about medical facilities. Okay, all these are limited. You don't see shopping malls in rural areas. Okay, you don't find big shops. Okay, so here the services provided by the rural in the rural areas is very limited, and also for limited needs. Now this is because people who live in the villages have their own occupation. They depend whatever they have to, they whatever they need, the needs are limited, and whatever they need they produce themselves. And of course, see, if it is farming, they'll have, they may grow their own crops. Okay, and also you find the needs of the people who live in the villages is very limited. Communities are close knit and the atmosphere is quiet. And also you find, everyone in the village, people, those who live, nearby, everyone. So we find communities are closely knit and the atmosphere is quiet. Okay, and there is dominance of community feeling. There's a feeling, of brotherhood here. Everyone here. Okay, everyone comes to your help whenever you need people's help. You always find people, there will be someone to come to your help. So there is the society as such is close knit. Okay, so there is dominance of community feeling. So let's move over to advantages of rural settlements. The people live in a more natural environment. So now when you look at the villages, you find they live in the lap of nature. You find trees here. Okay, plenty of, rivers. You can see physical people live in the lap of nature. They enjoy the beauty of nature. So that is why we say they live more in natural environment and they have better social support. As I said, now, the people who live in your locality here, if it is in the village, the people around you, and whenever you need, they always come to your help for your support. The environment is less stressful. So whatever you need, you get in the, your needs are limited, and hence you find whatever you need, it is satisfied in the village itself, and people usually live and work in the area itself in the villages. So you find the environment is less stressful. There's no commuting like in the urban areas, in the towns where people have to go out for work. Okay, you need transport. Okay, so the environment in the village is less stressful. Class differences are not as distinctive. And again, there's no caste or class difference here. Okay, there is no high or low. Okay, rich or poor in the village. Most of them, hence we find differences of class, caste, etc. Are not very distinctive. Then, what about disadvantages? We have talked about the advantages of rural, settlements, people who live in the rural areas. We have talked about the advantages. Let's move over to disadvantages. Now, the first one is limited transportation available. Okay, so in the villages or in the rural regions, we find transportation is limited. Okay, because could be roads are not properly developed. Okay, so people will have to depend on their own means of transport. Okay, and if it is deep into the hearts of the villages, etc., the transport facility is still very less. Social network can lead to strain. Okay, on one hand we find there's a community feeling, there's a close bond among the people. At the same time, this close bond itself can lead to strain. Limited employment opportunities. So in the rural areas, we find employment opportunities are very, very limited. Since most of the people are directly connected with primary activities, okay, employment opportunities, we find people will have to move out to the towns and urban areas. And slower social and political progress. So, progress also in the sphere of social as well as political sphere is very, very slow. Okay, so it takes a long time for the villages to transform. Okay, so there is slower social and political progress. Social services are less and not immediately available. Again, when we talk about services again, they are very, very less and you may not get it immediately. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of rural settlements. We have now gone through the characteristics of rural settlements. We have studied about the advantages and disadvantages of rural settlements. In the next session, we will study about the characteristics, advantages and disadvantages of urban settlements. Till then, children, please go through this session and try to understand the lesson and answer the questions which we will be providing you. Okay, children? Thank you.